Wednesday racing coming through from KZN. We're racing on the potty track at Hollywood Bets at Greyville, and our commencement to that first of eight programs, eight race program rather, is at 12:25. I wish you well this morning, and as the week proceeds on to the weekend yet again. But remember, you can like us on both Twitter and WhatsApp. We are starting at 12:25 with race number one at Catch KZN Racing via live streaming, and it is over the 1400 meters. Does that look to be a two-cornered contest at most, but we'll hear from our analysts. And we first of all welcome back Mr. Burrows after a well-deserved day off on Tuesday. Welcome back, Darren.
Thank you very much, Cecil. Good to be back. I do like the Greyville card ahead of us, and I think we found the viewers quite a few winners.
All right. So, now, what about race number one? Is it a two-cornered contest, or does it go beyond that?
For me, I thought One Smart Cookie. I'm going to give this filly another chance. Last time out, I thought she would enjoy the 1200, but she came under pressure early and she stayed on all the way to the line, suggesting the 1400 is going to be the ideal trip for her. And on her best of her form, I think she's definitely the horse to beat. I know she did get beat by Elegant Act behind Mascarena, but I think she can reverse that form because Elegant Act was disappointing last time out in a weak field on the poly. So I'm going One Smart Cookie, small each way bet.
One Smart Cookie, small each way bet, and certainly a bit of value to be had at around 4-1. Now, Mr. Marie, just hit the post, but you're getting back to your winning ways. And in race number one, a chance to get us off to a winning start in the bipod. How many do we need?
I've gone with all of numbers 4, 5, and 9, Cecil.
4, 5, and 9. One Smart Cookie, which is the each way selection from Mr. Burrows. 5, Elegant Act, who's likely to be favourite. And number 9, Emerald Green in the inform Mario Ferreira Silks. Now, pray tell, what is it about the 4, 9 that tickles your fancy?
I
Apart from
don't think it was a bad effort whatsoever last time out in open company. I think there's a few in that race that are going to win their races. So the booking of Richard Free speaks volumes for me. She's having her debut on the poly track and she hasn't really been exposed. She's only having her fourth start to date. Now, One Smart Cookie, take note, there is an equipment change. She's wearing a set of blinkers for the first time. She's had the run on the poly track. She actually acquitted herself quite well. Considering she was out of the ground, turning for home and wide. And then Elegant Act last time out, she had to give weight all round. I think she is capable of reversing the form with number 3, Little Black Velvet. So 4, 5, and 9.
It would be an anomaly not to make it through the first leg of the bipod, and certainly One Smart Cookie on top of all the list. Let's have a look at the graphic. It is going with the 4, 5, and 9 as pointed out by Daryl. In the second leg, it is going to be 3 and 4. Then there's a banker, which we'll get to when we get to race number 6, which I'm sure race number 6 we will be discussing in detail as we go on. That is race 1, 12:25 the off time. Please note, we've had a very important scratching come through recently, and that is number 6, a few dollars more in race number 2. I see even our tipster had it at the top of his selection in computer form, Jermaine Mirage. It is over the 1600 meters. That is a Gallup TV YouTube channel merit rated 70 handicap. And Daryl, will start off with you. We left with a field of 6. Brave Voyager, well, that form line will be coming through to in discussion as we get to the tail end of the program. Will that be your top of the list?
I'd certainly give him a winning chance. He's fairly consistent on the surface and he goes handy. So that's already half the battle won because he's coming to this race in decent form, fit, and the course suits him. So another plus is the 1.5 kilograms off his back. So you're going to get a run for your money, Cecil. He's certainly in with a strong winning chance. I like the look of number 4 over here, Shotgun Willie as the improver. If you have a look at his maiden Cape form, so they put him over 1800 quite early in his career, and that I think could be the key because in this race is that he's stepping up in trip. I think this is what he's looking for. You can see he did make good improvements in his second run after rest. He's racing fit now, and the blinkers come off. So there are a few equipment changes, and he's racing fit. So 3 and 4 for me. I'm leaning towards number 4 is the value.
Mr. Burrows, we've had an adjustment to the betting, obviously, with the scratching of a few dollars more. I see Brave Voyager now is showing at around 15 to 10 as we speak right now. The 5 Circle of Grace is showing some decent form in that form line. Frank, to an extent, by Give Me the Flame, who ran a decent second just last Thursday. That is now your second favorite at 19 to 10. What do you make of the field now, reduced to 6 runners? Could there be a bit of a fly in the ointment somewhere?
Cecil, I thought the horse to beat now with the scratching is Time Taker. Now, I thought, he's definitely the horse to beat with the 4 kilos off his back because he's handicapped to win. And I think the step up in trip on the poly is going to suit him down to the ground. So I thought value about Time Taker at 6 to 1. Dangers, Brave Voyager, always thereabouts. He's going to run another honest race. A horse like Farland, don't ignore him. I know he's an 8-year-old, but off his current rating and 52 kilos to shoulder, I think he could be in the mix with Shotgun Willie. So I thought Time Taker a small each way for me.
Okay, so another each-way selection there, and quite a few people talking up the chances of Time Taker. Please be reminded that the time to race number 2 is 1 o'clock, and that's when that PA pool closes. It is that 3 and 4 that should see you through, in an ideal world, through that first leg of Darren's suggested PA, which costs 360 rand. All right, so we move on to race number 3, a lowly fillies and mares, a 64 handicap. It will be over the 2,000 meters, the first leg of that pick 6, and you've got to be on by 13:35. Just having a look at the current show of betting, and the favorite right now in race number 3 is Columbia Road, and that is at 28 to 10. Now I want to start with you. We're talking about the Riverland horses. It is in the feministics of Mrs. Mary Lively. Richard Fourie, whom we also just mentioned off air, gets to ride a 5-year-old daughter of Flower Alley, 2-time winner from 16 outings. Where does that rank in your list, Mr. Marie? 11 to 4 was the early price, now 28 to 10 as money comes in for the 5 doctors' orders, and that is now shortened into as 15 to 4. It was 13 to 2 last night.
Could be because of is there a scratching essay?
There shouldn't be a scratch. In fact, a stealth attack,
yeah.
But that came about last night as well, 5% deduction. I still think there's still money coming through, though. Huh?
Yeah, Columbia Road, obviously the stats in the computer form were prior to Sunday's Scottsville meeting, but 9 wins from 16 horses, runners, Cecil, is a great stat. Tony Riverland and Richard Fourie have together. Now you can see she's 0 from 7 on the poly track, so one could say she's probably a little bit better on the turf surface, but in her penultimate start she finished close up. So I'll give her a chance of here. These are fillies and mares handicap. Inga Cara, I think the 1400 last time out's a little bit sharp for her. She has gone the distance in the past. Blinkers come off, and what I like about her is she used to sweat up profusely prior to the races. It looks like MJ's got her nice and calm now, and her mind on the race itself. And then I make number 8 the improver in the race. What's Up Buttercup? She's actually been victorious over this course and distance in the past. She's got the benefits of the 1.5 kilograms off her back from Rachel, and her ratings come down nicely. So another one that's nearing peak fitness. So I went numbers 4, 6, and 8, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised if something else happened to win.
Okay, you and Jermaine alike, because I see he's got it at the top of his selections. Mr. Burrows, I believe you're going to be giving us the knowledge of your pick 6. And What's Up Buttercup, currently showing as the second biggest downside at 15 to 2. Where does that rank in your list?
Well, Cecil, I haven't included her. I thought the horse to beat was Columbia Road. But in saying that, she's had 7 runs on the poly for 2 places and 0 wins. So I thought she's a better turf horse, but this is the right type of company for Columbia Road to run well. Doctor's Order's been disappointing in her last 2 starts, but on her best form, she could run well. Inga Cara's not out of it. She's consistent. And Summerland, from the high fault, she's got a chance. So 3, 4, 5, and 6.
3, 4, 5, and 6. Let's confirm those numbers. It is going to be an outlay of 864 rand. The race is off at 13:35, and that is the first leg of our pick 6. That is race number 3 on the poly track at Hollywood Bets at Durbanville. Hollywood Bets, rather, Greyville in Durban. All right, so we get into the jackpot territory with races 4 and 5 being the starting points of those two respective jackpots on an 8-race program at Greyville. Just to highlight the scratching, and that as we rank outside of the 6-2 Kane, leaves us the field of 8. A strong presence for row numbers Trinicia Pillay. She's got the 5 Vian's Bomb. And the 8 of Future Saint, trained by Gareth Van Sale Jr. and Cormoran Naidu, respectively. Now, Future Saint, Richard Fourie. By now, could we be counting 3 winners or 4 winners for Richard?
Possibly, Cecil. One thing I want to say is this horse, Future Saint, might not race in these silks because he's currently on an online sale and he's up for purchase with this race as an engagement. So just watch out, he might race in club silks.
Okay.
Cecil, I wasn't happy with the way he moved to start in his latest race. If you are wanting to back him, I'd say wait until race time. You're not going to be wanting to take evens after he's moved down to the start and he's not moving fluently. So just wait. I do expect him to drift. Currently, I think number 5 is a big runner, Vian's Bomb. The blinkers go on. He did improve as expected in his later start, and he's out of a Galileo mare, and I think he's going to love the step up in trip. So I'd rather be taking 33-10 about Vian's Bomb than the evens Future Saint. So I'm going 5 from 8.
Just a form update as we get to Darren, number 4. Basi Rakvat ran on Sunday at Scottsville, finished 5th, 4.25 lengths behind a certain Imaginable, who had finished behind the 5 Vian's Bomb the last time they met at Scottsville in yielding, going over the 1600. And the trip to this afternoon's trip is a 1900. Has the 5 been looking for this sort of trip, Darren?
I do believe so. A little bit one pace last time out, but, it was a mile. He did improve, and he ran off Wyatt's Choice, who I think will win a couple. So Vian's Bomb's going to be my outright first choice over your favorite Future Saint that wasn't striding out too well on the way to start last time out. And he took some warming up during the race to get that stride together. He stayed on, but he was a 7 to 10 shot. We expected more. Let's see how he goes down. He's done nothing wrong in his 4 starts to date, to be honest. And he's going to be given every chance by Richard Fourie. So Future Saint, a big runner, Vian's Bomb, and don't exclude the Cape Town Raider, Reign of Honor, at a big price. I've included him into the pick 6.
Okay, so that is the one we really look forward to coming through and rattling a few feathers in, or ruffling a few feathers in race number 4. That is the jackpot suggested by Darren. There is a banker in race number 5, which we'll get to shortly, and a banker in race number 7, and that is the 7. That is the first jackpot and a very inexpensive outlay of 24 Rand. Okay, so we've had an important scratching come through this morning, and that is number 4, Ravens Sword. That is Wendy Whitehead's charge, and Wendy's stable seemed to have turned the corner. Nonetheless, it doesn't diminish from the competitive nature of what is now an 8-runner field, and we can get straight to the crux of the matter. Mr. Burrows has a win suggestion, and certainly does take a drop in a class. That is the 2, Fine Admiral. Just to finish us with your confidence about this bet.
Very confident selection here, Cecil. I listened to the comments this morning saying he doesn't show too much at home, but he's in a good space. But I tried to land a gamble on him in his penultimate start from 20 to 1 into 6 to 1. And he just left his run a stride or two too late against his stable companion Banzai Pipeline. Last time out, nothing went his way. He got caught cramped for galloping room at the 400 and again at the 200 when he was making his run. He would have finished at least 2 lengths closer to the winner. And just on that run alone, it was eye-catching. He drops in class. He's got the draw. He'll probably sit a couple of lengths off the speed, and I'm hoping that he can just get on, pounce at the right time and get up late, because I think this is the perfect race for him, and I'm not looking further than 1 horse.
Okay, that is the 2, Fine Admiral, a banker. As far as you're concerned, Mr. Marine, we know that this is Darren's bet suggestion as we come to the conclusion of race 5. Anything you'd like to add, or maybe one that could be a lively rival?
I think the rival has to be number 3, Safe Space. Unfortunate last time out, just got nabbed on the line. Was actually on course that day, and the connections thought he had held on. He did pick up a slight penalty, but he was clear of the third place runner. And what's interesting is Richard Free sticks with him. And, you know, I think just knowing him better in a race could assist him in a big way, Cecil. So I've got respect for number 3, Safe Space. Also got a preference for number 2, Fine Admiral. Like Darren touched on, very unfortunate in his later start. Certainly should have finished much closer. And I like the fact that it's a very small field. I mean, only 8 go to post, 7 other horses in the race. He's not going to have traffic problems like he encountered last time out. And if he does turn for home with quite a few in front of him, he's not going to be out of his ground. So I can see him running them down in the straights. He's certainly off a competitive mark, and I think he will take some beating. So 2 from 3 for me.
2 from 3, and I think the current 25 to 20 is looking very attractive. A lump on at the 2. Wise men here have suggested that is virtually, to quote, unquote, Darren, virtually a penalty kick, and we have to respect that. Let's have a look at that confirmation. Race number 5, number 2, Fine Admiral, a confident win bet, scratch number 4, Raven Sword. Right, from 1900s, which have been the trips over our last 2 races, we go to 1,000 meters and some familiar names to look at in the betting. It is Trafalgar Square at 22 to 10. Dennis Bosch has the services of a very informed, a very pleasant young man. Everybody who's met him here on the Highveld says the same thing about Sereno Moodley. He teams up with Dennis, and his record so far is 6 rides, a win, a third, and a fourth. Trafalgar Square make up any of your thought processes, Mr. Burrows?
Yes, he's got to be a big runner. Last time out, they stepped him up to 1,200 meters, and he really appreciated that. Now he's back to 1,000, but he is competitive over this trip. You got Dragorati. I don't think there's going to be too much separating Trafalgar Square and Dragorati. And in saying that, Lafferty is in form. Now, Griffin Park's an interesting runner. His first run on the Poly, first run for a new stable. They landed a gamble. There was late money into 7 to 2. And he was the talk of the town that day. And he won a good race. He can build on that effort. And then there are others to consider. Love and Winter's lost his way, but he's very capable. But I would like to see improvement from him before having a bet. I put the field in the exotics.
All right. I think that would be the way some of us would go. But you're a brave man. Brave man, what is your selection in race number 6?
Cecil, listening to the post-race interview when Griffin Park won, it sounds like they're quite upbeat, and they expect him to notch up a few more wins. If you have a look at the times, you'll see that Trafalgar Square and Griffin Park ran on the same day, over the same distance. I don't know if the conditions on the day changed, like the wind or whatever, but Trafalgar Square was 2 lengths quicker than Griffin Park. And Griffin Park last time out was in receipt of a few kilograms because it was a maiden handicap. So I'm on the sideline with regards to his chances. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win, but I think he needs to confirm that he is competitive going forward. I like the look of number 5 over here, Chara Sands. If you open up the computer form, you can see 3 out of his latest 10 starts have been on the poly track. Go back to the February run. He ran close up behind Iron Bark of a rating of 76. Then go back to the September run. The May run, Cecil.
And he was
finished
again
close up to Iron Bark
again.
Off a 78. Then last time out, he was off at 82. Then he had a few runs on the turf. I think he's a better poly horse. He's now for 72. And he's been competitive of higher marks over this course and distance. So I'm leaning towards number 5 over here, Chara Sands.
And I think you've got to confirm that is your win selection, is it, or
Correct.
each way?
Yeah, win.
Win selection at around 7-2. Griffin Park has been nibbled at, and that is at 5-2. Let's confirm the selection from Darryl for race number 6. It is on the potty, 1,000 meters a trip for a merit rated 70. No scratchings, and Charo Sands at around 7-2. You can't get hurt to venture a little bet, but of course the 4 Griffin Park selection of our tipster, Mr. Darren Burrows. So it could be a good exactor, box exactor, perhaps come race 6. Right, let's wrap it up as we move on to the penultimate race 7. Well, in race number 7, as it so happens, Santa Claus number 7 seems to be very, very popular with all and sundry, and the market is not shy to also follow suit, and that is the Wendy White trained Sundance Kid in those very familiar silks and very lucky silks, I must say, of ITWSA, IT and Business Solutions, looking for win number 3 from 13 outings and looking to make it 2 from 2 over course and distance. Right, as far as race number 7, you guys could possibly enlighten me. I was a bit confused when looking at the form. How do you see the difference as far as the 7 and the 3? They ran together behind Lord Wiley and not too much separating them. Why the big discrepancy in price?
I'm not too sure because Midnight Caller's 3 kilograms better off.
Mm-hmm.
And they finished alongside each other. So I'm a little bit puzzled. In saying that Sundance Kid won well in his later start, there's no doubt that's his best effort to date. So maybe the pennies dropped for him and he could kick on. I think there's a lot of pace in this race. Sundance Kid's going to go forward. Kumamori with the blinkers last time out went forward. Midnight Caller likes to get on with it. So Famous and Rich is another one. So I think the pace is going to be genuine, and that may suit Ibutu, because he has to be ridden cold. Last time out, he actually moved through the field effortlessly, and he won with a bit in hand. So I'll give him a winning chance. And Canford Ice, Cecil, this horse is actually, I think, in my opinion, better than his form suggests to date. I don't know how fit he's going to be coming off that 3-month layoff, but I wouldn't be surprised to see him feature over here.
So you would actually be saying that the 7 could go on, or it's going to be a keen contest between the 3 and the 7, Mr. Murray?
I had quite a few horses in the PA alone, so I'm not going to nail my colours to the mast here.
Okay, right. Let's get to Mr. Burrows. This is a merit-rated 83, Darren, and is certainly worthy of being the top-rated race on the afternoon. Are you in the corner of the 7 Sundance Kid, or have you also found us a bit of a value in the race?
I'm not looking past Sundance Kid. You know, last time out, I was waiting for this horse to go the mile. He's a master of my fate out of a Fortwood mare, and I always see him running on over 1,400 meters. So I'm not concerned about him running alongside Midnight Caller over 14, because he's a horse looking for 1,800. And last time out, he absolutely trotted up. The jockey was swinging onto him at the 300. He let him go, and he just bolted clear. I think it's going to be pretty much a repeat of that performance. I know the field is slightly stronger, but if the pace is on, he's going to settle beautifully off them, and I think he'll win. So I'm very confident about Sundance Kid making it 2 in a row.
I think we're going to follow your suggestions, you two gentlemen, as far as the wins are concerned, and there was no doubt where your loyalties lay in your preview to race number 7. It is indeed Santa Claus number 7, Sundance Kid. We saw the last time we raced in KZN. Those colours are getting up to win under Richard Fourie for Wendy Whitehead. So Sundance Kid, best bet in computer form, a win suggestion for Darren Burrows.